Okay, oh, I asked you earlier, but we got busy with technical problems, so I didn't get to look into it. Has anyone seen my wicked sick Daedalus Point intro? I'm really pissed off at how many views it's getting for how stupid it is. Because they put effort into real things, and they get like 10 views on YouTube. I put like no effort in a joke around with Daedalus Point, and it's like, ah, hey, look, it's got like 1,000 views almost, whatever. Anyways, my complaining aside, spawning here in the top right corner of the map. Oops, let's turn the game sounds back on. It is the blue Terran player from Millennium, the recent acquisition known as Marinelord. And he's not too incorrect about that, but that's a whole nother discussion, guys. His opponent in the top left, though, from APSC2, I'm going to say this name sorry. It's like a SC2. I can't do it. We cast their Christmas Invitational. They're good people. They are, of course, like Spanish and all these wonderful things. But in the top left, it is the Pink Zerg player, ieZael. And again, I asked him how to say it. If this is wrong, I'm super sorry. If there's people with like, you know, oh, I wish I could fly. I wish I could never die. I wish I could pronounce people's names correctly on the first try and never get them wrong. That would be the caster superpower. Jeez, what sense was. Okay, let's talk about this real quick, guys. This is gonna be boring for some of you. This isn't nearly as new as it was. There's been about 5 STARBOW tournaments. This is number 5. There's the Razor tournament. You guys have probably seen some STARBOW before, but on the off chance there's somebody new here, one small thing to note about the game: this is not your regular StarCraft 2, and it is not Brood War. Don't be delusional and think it's either or. It's its own individual entity known as STARBOW. So there's some very unique mechanics to it. One of them is, of course, you only see one geyser. It's because instead of mining 3 gas per trip, you mine 8 gas per trip. Same with the mineral lines. You mine significantly more, significantly faster. So it's almost like my best reference is mining from gold patches in regular StarCraft 2. So you can play more off of one base economy. It's a lot more encouraged to expand. You don't lose as much if you expand and lose the base. It's kind of this really interesting catch. And there was kind of that joke, like, I feel this game's more balanced than StarCraft 2. And in some aspects it is, but in a lot of aspects the game is still new. It's still in its infancy. Even for a custom map, there's no way to actually, like, objectively determine whether this game is balanced enough, because there simply haven't been enough games played. There is no, like, mech build that is OP and beats all. Do you guys remember the original Ghost Snipe ability? How incredibly good that was, that I could kill Broodlords and then they had to tone it down? I mean, we don't get to see any of these things until everyone's explored more possibilities of this game. So regardless of what your opinion or my opinion is, objectively this game, you can't determine whether it's balanced or not, but it's fun, and that much I think is like a really key element missing from StarCraft 2. A lot of pro gamers get stressed out, people get frustrated. StarCraft 2 can be a pain. This, at the very least, is a nice relaxing break. It's a different mechanic set, and it's not too different from your regular game that you're so uncomfortable with it. So STARBOW can be pretty fun in that regard. Now, some of the races were tweaked and changed. One of the big ones, of course, are the Queens. First one pops out here. I'll show you the abilities it has. First off, you'll notice it doesn't have a default attack ability. You actually have to activate an Enrage to make it attack. And the Queen's Enrage is actually incredibly powerful. I would argue that it's more powerful than the regular auto attack of a Queen in StarCraft 2. So it also gets this really cool graphic. We'll show it if it happens. Looks like Marinelord gonna scoot on out of there just barely. And also larva injects were changed significantly. So you'll notice inject on the hatchery right now is not actually going to make like eggs that pop out of it. It just makes the larva spawn a little bit quicker. So some very subtle things, but important things nonetheless. For Terran, we kind of discussed the orbitals in the last game, so I'm not going to go over that too heavily. The only really key, really cool thing is you can actually research an ability that makes it so your scan doesn't require energy, but instead has 2 charges associated with it, which is kind of neat. Marinelord did kind of PM me before the game, by the way, guys, and he was like, yo, what's a good build versus Zerg? I'm still new to STARBOW. And I said, you know what? And this is not just a plug, guys. Forgive me. I know this sounds like a plug. It's not just a plug for my YouTube, but BCQD is probably one of the best Terran players in STARBOW right now. And we've got a lot of his VODs up on my YouTube channels, youtube.com/mapcontrolco. You can and quite frankly should check those out if you want to see some interesting games. He's not impregnable. He has been beaten, but he's probably got the best win rate and success rate out of a lot of players right now. He practices with Goody and Indra, or sorry, not Indra, but Idra, the retired pro player. So he's had his fair share of trying these games out. Now, banelings are still in the game, and zerglings can still be a problem, but as you guys will notice, oh my god, what is that in the production tab? It is a single player? No, it's a Starbow, and they brought back the Fire Bet. They brought back the Medic. Hell, they upgraded the Medic with an ability from Brood War, the Defense Matrix, but you have to research it. So, I mean, there's some pretty cool things. There's some pretty nifty things in the game, and of course, the Vulture and Spider Mines are on the way. Spider Mines are kind of... Okay, let's touch base on Spider Mines here. They're very interesting. One of the weirdest things about them is the fact that they can't target workers and they can't target hovering or vulture units. So you can put a Spider Mine down and it'll kill Lings, no problem. But you can't go to your opponent's worker line, lay down like 50 Spider Mines, because if you do, nothing's gonna die. Mutalisks are still a bit of a problem to deal with. We do have the Spire coming out here for ieZael, and they don't... how do I describe this? Mutalisks, they still clump up a bit, this and that, whatever. They're not too different from their regular StarCraft 2 counterparts, but they're a lot more microable, I guess is the best way to describe it. You'll see it when it gets into action, guys. I'm gonna do a very poor job of trying to paint you the picture, so I'm not gonna bother. But you can micro units so much better in Starbow, and Mutalisks are probably the #1 thing I would best describe as changed in that regard. Still died on Rainfire. Stim can be a problem. Medics, of course, are a little bit better than Medivacs, and you know, you can always put a hell of a lot of turrets down if you need to. Anyways, Ion Thrusters is on the way here. So Vultures upgraded are incredibly difficult to deal with Zerg players. This is something we've seen with a lot of Terran players. Vultures are made to be the counter Zergling unit, guys. Essentially, they move faster, they shoot further, and they can two-shot them, which is huge. Spider-Man's gonna arm, but then disarm. So we saw them pop out of the ground, they go back down immediately. They do take about 4 seconds-ish to arm, so they're not immediate. But the splash damage they do is insane, and not a lot of fun to deal with. Irradiate is actually a huge thing that was brought into the game here. Science vessels have been resurrected, as it were. And one of the big... Oh, I'm talking too much. Let's back this up a sec. We're not going to see science vessels for a little bit. What we are going to see is a Lurker Den coming out. Lurkers are so good. They are just anti-ground units. As they pop out, one thing worth noting is they form from Hydralisk, so the same way as Zergling turns into a Baneling, a Hydralisk turns into a Lurker, and a Lurker may only be able to tackle Burrowed, but boy oh boy does it do a stupid amount of damage to anything that walks over it. Plus its splash. Now, some Mutalisks are going to get on top of the mineral line here before the turret's complete. That kind of sucks here for Marinelord, but some Marines with Stimpack are on the duty, on the case. Medics with... unfortunately, actually, just a little bit out of range of the Marines here, but as we see, the Marines are dealing with the Mutalisks not too poorly. Another group does stim forward. He's going to need some more Marines, for sure. Dealing with this is not going to be too easy. Goliaths kind of suck versus Mutalisks, guys. For those of you who are like, well, you know, there's no more Thor, there's the Goliath, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, Goliaths are not going to be the answer. Some more Vultures are going to get over here and still keep poking around. I guess these ones supposed to survive from the first attack. Spider-Man will arm and take out a lot of Lings there. But as we see, guys, with the Ion Thrusters, the only unit in the game, I believe on the ground, that is faster than a Speedling is an Ion Thrustered Vulture with 5.23 movement speed. And even that Spider-Mine's going to go down there. That's pretty cool. Beetles getting the main, though, is not cool. And unfortunately for Marinelord, the best answer to this, of course, at the moment, is Marines, which are not going to be the quickest things to respond. The next best bet he really has is getting a Science Vessel, getting a Radiate. So some of you may not know what a Radiate is, and it's new to you, and that's cool. It's basically this giant green cloud of poison that works. It's like an immolation aura, is the best way I can describe it, where it will kill the unit it's on, as well as damage units nearby. So these units, as we see, they clump up pretty hardcore. It's not easy to separate whichever one gets irradiated. But unfortunately for Marinelord, his starport's late. His Irradiate needs to be researched. His Science Vessel needs energy. So it's not going to be out anytime soon. And for now, with Bio, or has to rely on his Bio, rather, to hold on to this game. Back on the other side of the map, there's still that Spider-Mine. Not a lot of damage was really done to the working lines. Len Rage. I've been casting a lot of regular StarCraft 2, man. We cast a lot of everything. You should know that by now. Base Trade TV covers all bases, no pun intended. Unfortunately here, these turrets are just not getting the opportunity to go down. These Mutalisks are a little bit too problematic for the time being, and Marines are going to stim back to the mineral lines. But they are getting choked out by the mineral lines, guys. Please do note that this is not like OP for either player. It's just not fun to deal with. The same way regular Mutalisks are in StarCraft 2. Now, we don't quite have that minefield I would expect to see outside of the base. And the Vultures, of course, funneling in here, just soaking hits. I would love for them to lay down their Spider Mines at the very least before doing this because, well, it's just such a waste. Otherwise, Lurker's here at the front line, so as we're going to see here, they're going to do a lot of damage in a straight line, and Marines are going to need to split up just a tad. But as we see, they are just wrecking the ground, which is not fun to deal with. Mutalisks, of course, still a very, very big problem in the air. Where is that science vessel, man? Starport is down, no research coming out. Oh, he doesn't have the money for it. He's been so busy dealing with this. Oh, no. Alright, so more Lurkers coming in. I don't think Marinelord can hold this, guys. He's got no tanks. He's got no siege mode, and most importantly, no irradiate. Because at this point, if not irradiating the Mutalisks, you would irradiate a Lurker just to straight up kill it. Like, it will straight up kill the unit it's irradiating, guys. I did not know you could place a spider mine on top of a depot. That is actually really cool, because that's going to be nearly impossible to see. At any rate, Lurkers are laying siege, and they got a ton of damage associated with them, guys. And holding the lines like this will not be easy here for Marinelord. He is in for some trouble, make no mistake. He can't stim forward. These are designed to be like anti-bio units. You're not supposed to be able to drop on top of them. You're not supposed to be able to stim into them. You have to outrange them or use a science vessel or something. But Marinelord, perhaps a little too unaccustomed with the game, finds himself in a terrible situation where there's just like too many Lurkers, too many Mutalisks, and no way for him to engage into either. Just like siege tanks, ieZael can actually leapfrog these forward to secure his position in the game. Does he know about this other base? No, so maybe Marinelord will get away with this. I don't know. But siege tech is being researched because siege tanks don't have it innately. Big stim forward, going to try and catch some of these Lurkers. Will catch a couple of them, but the Marines have to retreat immediately. And of course, if he loses his Marines, then he's got no anti-air, and he's going to lose this game outright. So this is looking really problematic for Marinelord. My fingers are crossed for him, guys, but like I said, this is not looking like a game for him to win. A little too unfamiliar with the game. Definitely needs some more practice, at least getting comfortable with the skills, the abilities, and what's available. Medics are just completely dry trying to repair this. Now, I actually say he's out of the game, but I don't know if ieZael can necessarily end this outright. Not with the position he's in currently. We do have a small drop on the other side of the map. Whoa, I missed that entirely. Did get the entire mineral line. 35 workers killed, though, by ieZael to the 12 of Marinelord. Not the best catch in the universe, but hey, it's still some counter damage. It drew the Mutalisks away, and it bought him time. It bought him time to get that siege tech out, to get siege mode research. Trying to stim down the ramp like this, though, not going to work. Retreats immediately. And siege tanks are now going to siege up. Science vessel is going to provide detection, but still no irradiate currently available. We'll start taking out some of these Lurkers, though, and this has been a big problem. This has been keeping the Marines choked back. If not for this hidden base down here in the lower right, I think Marinelord would be out of the game, and he is going to lose this base. Make no mistake, guys. His economy is still nowhere near where he needs it to be. He's struggling to produce units, and these science vessels, they've got no tech on them. If he had a radiate, the Mutalisk clump, I guarantee you guys, if he could get a radiate out, then the Mutalisk would be a non-issue. But now he's got to get enough money to establish his natural once again. His opponent's on 3 bases. He may have lost a lot of drones in that attack, but as we see, his economy is still significantly higher than that of Marinelord's. Opting to push out. I don't know if he feels like he's in an all-in scenario, or he just doesn't think he can protect his main. Now there's what's the stupid probe drone nerve jammer thing? There we go. Reduces damage, but of course it only really affects ground units, so it's not going to help at all versus the Mutalisks. Another turret does fall, and Marines are trying to deal with this. They will pick off a couple more Mutalisks, but at this point, guys, it's kind of like a consolation prize. Does really, really need to start researching that irradiate on that tech lab. I know he can't really afford it, but it's a necessary thing. Like a 3rd science vessel coming out. Sorry, an additional. Why does he have 3 science vessels queued up? Marinelord! Okay, Marinelord is like a buddy of mine, and I am going to scream at him after this game. Like, why you no research irradiate? Missile turrets are going to go down. These Mutalisks are just way too numerous to deal with. Another big run by will get chased off. But it kind of feels like it's delaying the inevitable at this point. Needs to get workers on gas again. ASAP, guys. Ugh, this is killing me. Alright, you know what? I'm joining on way too hard about this. There's some cool other things here set up for. So, I mean, a fusion core. Perhaps let's look at our battle cruisers later. I don't know. Battle cruisers were changed so they hit a little bit harder, but they attack a little bit slower as a consolation. They have a blink ability, which is awesome on top of the Yamato cannon. But that's not a unit we're going to get to see at all this game. Marinelord... he's spending so much time retreating the SCVs, he's never going to be able to mine with them. But a huge catch on these Mutalisks, actually. Almost gets another 2 on top of the 2 he did manage to slam off. It's not a lot, guys, but it's the little things at this point that you really have to hope keep you in this game. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. There are critters in the map. Maybe ieZael wants to take these out and take some extra bases. I don't know. But looks like we're going to have a big clash here in the central portion of the map. Nerve jammers are the only thing these science vessels have going for them. And those aren't even going to go down. He's just going to die. This is it. This is the game. I hate to be that guy. Anticlimactic as it is. But good game is finally called. And ieZael will take the victory.